Good morning, everyone, and welcome to All Faiths Unitarian Congregation. My name is Joyce Rame, and I will be leading your service today. Here you will find a diverse and inclusive spiritual community where we welcome people with many beliefs. You can bring your whole self, your full identity, your questioning mind, and your expansive heart. At All Faiths, we have more than one way of experiencing the world and understanding the sacred. No matter who you are, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, and no matter whom you love, you are truly welcome here. Is anyone visiting All Faiths for the first time today? If so, please raise your hand. Welcome, welcome. We're glad to have you with us. If you'd like to know more about Unitarian Universalism or All Faiths, you can see Fran Way, who's standing right there by the folding doors after our service. I have a few announcements to make. Next Sunday, we're having our pet shelter collection coordinated by Sharon Gray. I understand that pet shelters are overloaded right now in our area, and so they really need all the help they can get. Tomorrow from 8:30 to 4, we're having a special mental health first aid program put on by Richard Keelan and people from Golisano Health. You must be pre-registered. On Tuesday, Judy Alberta will be leading a garden tour here. I encourage you to come and learn everything about all the wonderful landscaping and the birds and the bees and the flowers and the bushes and the trees. Judy, would you stand up? She has come and she just takes care of everything, making it beautiful. We're so grateful for that. And she's also going to be our guest speaker today. She'll be talking about the homeless. She was one of the original people starting our Heart for Homeless team. On Friday, we'll have Domino's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, next Sunday, we will not have the news talk in the morning. At 9:45, we're having a special congregational meeting, and that will be held to approve the search committee team members. We'll be forming the search committee to look for a new minister to start sometime, hopefully by the new year. As you know, our beloved CJ will be leaving us after August 28th, so we need your support for the search team. And if you can't be here for the meeting next week, see Regina this morning to get your ballots in advance. And now I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing together hymn number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In, and the words are printed in your order of service. Enter, rejoice, and come in. And now I invite Nicole to come forward to light the chalice. Please join in reciting the words in your order of service. As we light this flame, May we be inspired to reach out to help others, particularly those who are homeless or struggling to keep a roof over their heads and food on the table. At this time, we share with each other our joys and sorrows. We have a sorrow this week. Our beloved member, Mildred Smith, died. She had been living at Colusa Harbor, and she lost her husband, Dick Ashton, a little earlier in this year. So I'd like to call for a moment of silence in memory of Mildred and Dick. And now, if any of you have a joy or sorrow you'd like to share with us, please come forward. Emmy, would you come up and tell us about Gershwin?
So back there you may see we have a dog with us. His name is Gershwin. He is a therapy support dog we are babysitting for the day, and we're lucky to have him here with us. So yeah, he loves pets and attention. May follow you around if you walk past him. He's a really sweet boy, and we're happy to be with him.
So we'll light a candle for the joy of welcoming Gershwin to our congregation. We usually have Sadie here with Doug and Diane. I'm going to light a candle for Doug Cartwright. He had stent surgery this week, and he's doing well under care of Diane at home.
Good morning. I'm Fran Way, and it's been several weeks because Bob has been hospitalized and was transferred to Pagefield Rehab. We're working very hard to help him gain strength in his legs and hands so that he can return home. This morning, I just talked to him this morning on the way in, and he said say hello and send his thanks and for the cards and the emails and your best wishes. He's not able to watch live this morning because he was waiting for the physical therapist to come and take him to therapy. One of the issues with Bob is that he has two conditions that are battling each other. He has fairly severe neuropathy that affects his balance and his hands and feet, and his heart condition requires some pretty sophisticated medication to keep the heart from going into fibrillation, but the side effects of the medications makes his balance issues, makes him very groggy and drowsy. So it's a delicate balance of keeping the two in check.
I'm lighting a candle for Donnelly Benyak and also for Janet Falk. Both of them are suffering with the COVID infections. As you may have noticed, the first 2 years of COVID, we hardly had anyone here at All Faiths that had came down with it. But in the last few weeks, we've had many. So I'm glad to see that you're wearing your mask today. Do take good care of yourselves during these coming weeks because Lee County is on the very high list right now. And I'm lighting another candle for all of you who have joys and sorrows in your hearts. Please remember to reach out to those who are home alone and in need of help. And now we'll have a moment of silence. We ask that you close your eyes, take a deep breath, turn our minds and hearts to today's service, and contemplate our many blessings. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing together, Spirit of Life. The words are printed in your order of service. Our opening words are a poem by Twisted J called Homeless, Not Harmful. Homeless, not harmful. Jobless, but hopeful. Penniless, not hurtful. Won't steal, will work. Won't hurt, will work. Won't scare, will work. Looking for compassion, not violence. Seeking employment, not 9 cents. Giving hope, not property. I am homeless, not harmful. And now our prelude will be by Carlos Moments.
Out of a cardboard box under the East Street Bridge, followed me onto it. I went halfway across, but with that homeless shadow tagging along, so I dug for some change. Wouldn't need it anyway. He took it looking just a bit ashamed. He said, you know, I haven't always been this way. I've had my moments, days in the sun, moments I was second to none, moments when I knew I did what I thought I couldn't do. Like that plane ride, coming home from the war from that summer. My son was born in memories, like a coat so warm, a cold wind couldn't get through. Looking at me now, you might not know it, but I've had my moments. I stood there trying to find the nerve, wondered if a single soul on earth would care at all. Miss me when I'm gone. That old man just kept hanging around, Looking at me, looking down, I think he recognized that look in my eyes. Standing with him there, I felt ashamed. I said, you know, I haven't always been this way. I've had my moments, days in the sun, moments I was second to none, moments when I knew I did what I thought I couldn't do. Like that day I walked away from the wine for a woman who became my wife, and a love that when it was right could always see me through. Looking at me now, you might not know it, but I've had my moments. I know somewhere around the trash can fire tonight, that old man tells a story one more time. He says, I've had my moments, days in the sun, moments I was second to none, moments when I knew I did what I thought I couldn't do. Like that cool night on the Easter Bridge, a young man almost ended it. I was right there, wasn't scared a bit, and I helped him pull him through. Looking at me now, you might not know it, but I've had my moments. I've had my moments.
Thank you, Carlos. Our reading today is by a 7-year-old named William, My Life on the Street. I'm a homeless person. I beg for food. People think I'm not there. At night, it's even worse. Sounds of the night, sirens ring in my ears. Lashing winds and rain worsen my fears. I try to keep warm using cardboard and a blanket. Prison would feel like a home to me. A bed, some food, and a roof over my head. On cardboard, I wait until the break of day. And then I say, hooray, as a few pennies are placed in my hand. And then I stand and say, your smile made my day. Please rise in body and spirit as we sing together. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. The words are printed on your order of service.
Sometimes I feel like a
that was very glum. A lot of homeless people are not all that sad. They are in difficulty, however. What would you miss most if you were homeless? I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. I know what I would miss most. My bathroom. Privacy, cleanliness, personal care supplies at my fingertips. I know of a woman, a homeless woman I know of, uses a 5-gallon pail for a toilet with kitty litter in it. It's in the woods and it is shared. A political correct term for homeless is people experiencing homeless or unsheltered. But I'm going to continue to word the homeless because it's more convenient. I'd like to tell about the Heart for the Homeless team. This is our poster. It was made up by Barbara Geiser, who's no longer a member of our congregation. There's a copy in the back to read the mission statement and the vision statement. It began about 4 years ago. There was a congregational survey taken. Which aspect of community service is most interest to you? I checked homelessness, and all those that share that interest met. I was persuaded to be the chairperson, and Barbara Geiser said she would help, so we were actually co-chair. At the first meeting, we asked people to select a stone with an inspiring word on it. The word I picked was uplift. That word would act as a focus for our efforts going forward. I keep it on my kitchen counter for inspiration and a reminder every day. The people that remained from the original team are myself, Louis Robinson, and Eileen Moran. Would the people who are on the team currently please stand up? Louis and Pam Balser. There are about 4 other people on the team that aren't currently here. Barb McFarland has been the chairman for the last 2 years, and she is continuing as the chairman now, hoping that someone will take over eventually. We welcome new members. We meet on the 3rd Thursday of each month here at the congregational building at 2 o'clock, so join us, please. We have done several projects over the 4 years. The first one was making personal care kits. We used donated hotel shampoos and lotions, small towels, combs, toothbrushes, and so forth. And these were donated at City Gate Church, downtown Fort Myers. We've had a kitchen collection and a linen collection, and most of that going to Rapid Rehousing. I know a lot of you donated to all these efforts. Rapid Rehousing is for homeless people, but primarily for families with children. They want to spare children the experience of being unsheltered and having to live outdoors. So they house them in a hotel until housing can be arranged. Agencies that do that are St. Vincent de Paul Cares, Lee County Human and Veteran Services, and local Catholic charities. Other agencies do it when funds become available. Greg Monk works at St. Vincent de Paul Cares, and we had an event at this congregational building. We helped supply cleaning supplies, household cleaning supplies for people who had just town housing after being homeless. Many of you donated items for that. Barb McFarland and I sat and talked with 2 of the women that were there that day. We chatted with them about their new home, and in my case, the health problems that my lady was experiencing. Barb's lady had 2 teenagers, and they all rode bikes for transportation. One of the bikes wasn't working very well, so Barb saw to it that a bike was provided in good repair so the lady could get to her job at McDonald's. Our bike collection has been very successful. You've probably seen our sign on the main driveway out here. It says, "Leave a bike for a homeless adult." There were 2 here today, and I saw Louis take them toward the back of the building so nobody would steal them. There has been a very good response from the neighborhood and the congregation for the bike collection. Dottie Mayo has contributed 4 bikes. There have been 115 bikes donated over the last year and a half. That is amazing. We take them to All Souls Episcopal Church in North Fort Myers or to the Sheriff's Department. They all repair them and then distribute them according to the plans of their particular agency. At the Sheriff's Department, the inmates being released, if they don't have a car, they try to give them a bike. Sometimes we call Robert Hibbert of the Lee County Bicycle Ministry, and he picks them up, and then his volunteers repair them, and he distributes them to various agencies around town. They have had up to 1,800 bikes over the last several years. School uniforms is another one of our projects. A uniform consists of, I will show you, a polo shirt, any color, no embroidery or insignia on it. This is K through 5 schools, so appropriate sizes. Or you can get shorts or slacks in khaki or navy, or a skirt or a dress, khaki or navy. We'll have shorts underneath. I shop at Kiwanis Thrift Shops because they have a designated uniform section. But sometimes you can't find the slacks, so then you go into the children's section and look for slacks. If you want to buy new uniforms, they have uniforms at Kohl's and Penny's and Target uniform sections, usually just in August and September. And you can also order them online. We're having a uniform collection this Sunday, August 14th. So if you would like to donate a uniform, you certainly feel free. We do not accept money to get the uniforms ourselves. The uniforms, Ainsley Babcock always distributes her outgrown uniforms. She will be in 8th grade this year, and will be her last year to wear uniforms, but she's been very good about that. The uniforms are taken to Colonial Elementary, which has 807 students, and Wedgwood Academy, 583 students, all K-5 schools. These schools have the highest percentage of homeless students in Lee County, according to the Homeless Student Liaison. These are Title I schools, which means they have a high poverty level. Several of us have participated in the Homeless Service Day. This is sponsored by the Lee County Homeless Coalition called LCHC. The first one we attended was at City of Palm Stadium. As you approach the stadium, there are people that have come early and lined up. Many are in wheelchairs or walkers and have lots of bundles of their possessions with them. City officials and LCHC staff hold a little ceremony at the beginning. They give a little speech and a prayer, and then they begin. The day is basically a giveaway event with items provided by area churches and social service agencies. The people line up and a volunteer is paired with 1 or 2 clients. We accompany them through the series of stations and tables. They can select blankets, sleeping mats, tarps, backpacks full of items, snacks, glasses, clothing, shoes and socks. There's a place to get a haircut, and there's even a place where your pet can get a shot. A free lunch wraps up the day. Our team's also had 5 speakers during the last 4 years, mostly speaking to adult ed and to our team by itself. Why am I so interested in the issue of homelessness? It's hard for me to admit, and it evokes feelings of sadness, regret, guilt, and shame. My 22-year-old granddaughter is homeless. Her mother's one of my 4 children, my adopted daughter from Korea. I was there when Tracy was born. She's the unplanned child of an unmarried couple who split up soon after her birth. She's a bright, pretty little girl, and she spent a lot of time with me and Greg overnight and weekends. After I retired, I picked her up from school every day while her mother worked. She had a lot of instability at home with her mother when her mother dated different men, but Mom was always there for her. I took her many places to let her know what was available in the community. Museums, libraries, gardens, music instruction, choir, church, flying to Texas to visit relatives, and college performances. 7th grade began a downhill trajectory from which she never recovered. In 6th grade, she developed alopecia, an autoimmune disease that causes hair loss. It just thinned at first, and then just left tufts of hair. She started wearing a wig, which we were able to get free from a wonderful agency in Detroit called Children with Hair Loss. They provide a human hair wig each year up until the age of 21, which would cost up to $1,000 each. But she didn't follow directions in caring for it, so it didn't look very nice toward the end of the year. For example, she slept in it. She wasn't supposed to sleep in it. She wouldn't even let her mother see her without her wig. Once on a school bus trip, a student pulled the wig off. She pretended it didn't bother her, but it was devastating. She denied her feelings a lot of the time. I truly believe hair loss is still part of her problem. She dropped out of school in the 10th grade. She eventually went to alternative high school and got her GED. She lived at home for a while, getting a job and quitting, getting a job and quitting. Conflict at home regarding lack of employment, among other issues, broke the relationship, and she became a drifter. I volunteered at HQ, a center exclusively for homeless teens and young adults, hoping to connect her with that organization to get guidance, but she refused to meet with them. I even took her in to meet the staff once, but she never went back. Just will not seek help from those whose life's career has guided her to success. I don't know where she is now, just somewhere in Michigan. I have 6 other grandchildren from 3rd grade to age 22, and they're all doing well. Now the Green Books. Everyone should know the importance and availability of the Green Books. They're a publication of the Lee County Homeless Coalition, LCHC. Their mission statement is, let's make homelessness rare, brief, and one time. The book lists most of the available resources in Lee County, including those for low-income people if facing eviction, or they will help pay utilities and help them not be evicted. On page 2 of the Green Book is a phone number for a coordinated entry. That's very important. If you ever give people these, tell them to call this number. The applicants call this number, and they're interviewed on the phone, and then whatever agency they're referred to, they always have that information for that person. There are books, green books in the back, too, for you to pick up. This page is basically the same information, but the green books have been very expensive to print. Everything has gone up in price. So Therese Everly, the director of LCHC, suggests that you take one of these if you want to give them to a homeless person. The number is on the front, and I highlighted it in all the copies. So she noted that some people got these green books at the homeless service day, and they threw them away. Oh, so they might be more likely to keep this. She suggests you put it in a plastic bag so it doesn't get wet or destroyed. And they can also use the plastic bag, but they always like storage bags. We don't see a lot of people panhandling nowadays because there was a law passed maybe a year and a half ago that they would get arrested if they were caught on the street corners asking for assistance. So, but I see people walking along the street. I see them everywhere. If you would just walk downtown Fort Myers, you see homeless people, especially around the library. So if you just keep a couple of these handy, you can hand them out. That would be nice. Homeless people are on their feet all day walking, and their socks wear out. Laundry opportunities are limited. I carry socks in my car to give out. I have men's. No, that's women's. Women's, regular men's, large men's. I went to give out socks to one man, I said, that's never going to fit. So I got some large. You can get these at Sam's for like, they're $12 for 10 pair. They're inexpensive. I gave them to one man, he took his shoes off right in the median where he's holding his sign and put his socks on. Another man said he'd been praying for some new socks. I recently saw an article online, 27 rules to survive homelessness. Rule 12, try to keep your socks clean. A fresh pair of socks goes a long way. Now the McDonald's homeless. First, let me comment that about 90% of the homeless people I've encountered have been white. My husband Greg and I go to McDonald's almost every day, about 10:30 for a snack and conversation, looking at Facebook and so forth. Occasionally I notice a person or a couple that comes in and sits down and they just sit there and they don't order anything the whole time that we're there. So when we're ready to leave, I ask if they need some money to get something to eat. If they say yes, I give them some money and a green book. Tell them that, show the number to call. One day a young woman came in and sat down and just sat there. So on our way out, I asked her if she needed some money for food. She says no. She says, I'm pregnant and my parents just kicked me out. So I said what I hope were some comforting words. I didn't have specific pregnancy information with me at the time, but I do carry it now, and it's not in the Green Book. There's one organization in Cape Coral that will take in pregnant young women, and if they don't have any support whatsoever, they'll let them stay for 2 years and take care of the baby and get them ready to be on their own. Even in Hollywood, Florida, where we vacation, we went to a McDonald's in a poor area of town. There was a middle-aged black lady sitting in a booth alone. Her foot was propped up as it were sore. She looked like you expect a homeless woman to look. It appeared she'd been sitting there for a while because she had a cup of coffee. As we were getting ready to leave, I exhibited my white supremacy behavior by sitting down beside her without asking her permission. Afterwards, I was remorseful and assuming that would be acceptable to her. But I was thinking that I wanted to demonstrate to the other customers that she was approachable and not untouchable. Anyway, she was startled to see me, but gracious. She said, I like your watch. We talked a little and said she would accept some money for food. She said she was having a hard time right now, and we agreed that things change and there's hope for better days ahead. Even at Hollywood Beach, where there's a broad walk, a 2-mile paved sidewalk along the ocean, a great place to vacation. They have hotels and condos and restaurants and shops. A homeless lady was there. I'd seen her on other trips and recognized her. She washes herself at the faucets intended to rinse the sand off your feet. She wore a billowing raincoat-like garment that completely hid her body as she washed. I'd seen her earlier partaking a walk in the morning, so next time I walked, I took her a few items, some snacks, a Kleenex packet, and lotion, and some money. She was vigorously brushing her teeth underneath this billowing garment, so I decided to wait until she was done. I never saw anyone brush their teeth for so long. So finally, she gave me this sign, which, as we all know, is the international sign for come back later. I continued on my walk and came across a little free library. I picked out a book, something about black girls, and I brought it to her with my other items. This time she was friendly and chatty. She said she used to have a car and apartment and that her family helps her some. She spends a lot of time at libraries and she loves to read. She said the U.S. government is spying on her and their surveillance system knows her location at all times. She went to the Supreme Court to complain about that, but they were no help at all. So you see there was some paranoia there that interfered with her regaining a standard lifestyle. So how then should we perceive and what attitudes to endeavor to cultivate toward the homeless? Zen Buddhist teacher Norman Fisher speaks of radical connectedness, the recognition that ourselves and others are not fundamentally different. We try to embrace all beings in compassion. That includes people with different political views, religious beliefs, the rich, the handicapped, the estranged relative. It doesn't mean you go to unreasonable lengths to meet their needs yourself or disrupt the lives of your family just because you have the resources. Never take an individual or family into your home, for example. There are literally thousands of people who work in the social services field, and you may want to familiarize yourself with those resources. We may be effective or ineffective in our efforts, but we can try. I've been reading a book called The 5 Invitations by Frank Otasewski. What resonated with me is the idea of our natural tendency to render judgment, which leads to either-or mentality, a black and white way of thinking. A more compassionate, holistic approach is a both-and way of viewing life. It's not helpful to operate in the binary mode of thinking, good or bad, right or wrong, accept or reject, for or against. The word allow is a word that releases us from the whole idea of comparison and preference. Judgment is a harsh, aggressive habit that closes off our access to other capacities. Discernment makes space, helps us to have perspective, allows more of our humanity to show up. It helps wisdom to emerge. We often confuse acceptance with approval. Acceptance is a loving act of an open heart. It's a recognition of our common humanity. We're all waves of the same ocean. Even if you find yourself unable to physically assist a homeless person, think to yourself on behalf of them. May you be free from suffering and its causes. May you be peaceful and happy. May you be loved.
Wow. I'm going to light a candle for Judy's granddaughter, wherever she may be. I hope she knows how much she is loved by Judy. We don't have a joke today. This is a pretty serious topic. The joy that we find, though, is that there are people who care. Judy, our homeless team, all of our social action team, people are reaching out, people are caring and sharing, and that's really what life is all about. It's about supportive relationships. It isn't about independence and the self. It's all about community, and so everything that we can do to enhance the love and compassion in our community, that's what we want here at All Face, and that's why we have our social action teams. And Judy, I'm so proud of you. Thank you very much. And now we're going to have our offertory, and this month we're collecting for visuality and sharing, so if you'd like to contribute to visuality, that's a support for the LGBTQ community, which is suffering many attacks these days. You can just write visuality on the lower left of your check, and our offertory will now be collected. Carlos?
From a distance, the world looks blue and green, and the snow-capped mountains wide. From a distance, the ocean meets the stream, and the eagle takes to fly. From a distance, there distance, we all have enough, and no one is in need. There are no guns, no bombs, and no disease, no hungry mouths to feed. From a distance, we are instruments marching in a common band, playing songs of hope, playing songs of peace. They're the songs of every man. God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. From a distance, you look like my friend, even though we are at war. From a distance, I can't comprehend what all the war is for. From a distance, there is harmony, and it echoes through the land. It's the voice of hope. It's the voice of peace. It's the voice of every man. God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance. Oh, God is watching us. God is watching us. God is watching us from a distance.
Thank you, Carlos. Our closing words are The Homeless Stretch by Jacob Folger. Stretch the chicken, it might keep. Stretch the peanut butter, 2 bites more. Stretch the Kool-Aid for 1 more drink. Frugal only is the way I think. Stretch the towel, 1 clean corner still. Stretch the soap, there is just me. Stretch my clothing for 1 more year. Thank God there is no one near. Stretch my smile, for there is still hope. Stretch my good mood for another day. Stretch my prayers, I can do 1 more, hoping God won't close more doors. Stretch the blanket over my head. Stretch the warmth through till dawn. Stretch my sleep till morning comes, and then stretch the warmth of the sun. And our postlude is Another Day in Paradise.
She calls out to the man on the street, "Sir, can you help me? It's cold and I've nowhere to sleep. Is there somewhere you can tell me?" He walks on, doesn't look back. He pretends he can't hear her. Starts to whistle as he crosses the street. She can't walk, raised her. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you, you and me in paradise. She calls out to the man on the street. He can see she's been crying. She's got blisters on the sole of her feet. She can't walk, but she's trying. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you, you and me in paradise. You can tell from the lines on her face, you can see she's been there, probably been moved from every place, 'cause she didn't fit in. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you, you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you, you and me in paradise.
Thank you, Carlos. Our task is to create paradise here on earth by caring and sharing and reaching out and including others and embracing them and looking at them and seeing them and then recognize the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And may you carry that message from Judy and the homeless team and all of our social action people into your daily lives. I want to thank Judy for her beautiful message. I know how much it means to her. She operates from her heart. And Carlos for the beautiful music, and Sharon and Regina for everything they do to support our services, and Ed Alrod on sound. And Joe Gayton is gone, so Frank Geltner is subbing for him today, and we appreciate that. And we appreciate our greeters and all of you. And it's so good to be connected in whatever way we can. And remember, wearing the mask now, you smile with your eyes. Smile with your eyes. That's what all those little crinkles are for, and the sparkle and the light that you shed on each other. And now I invite Nicole to come forward to extinguish the chalice. Please recite the words that are written in your order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world. Go now in peace and join us in the social hall for coffee and cookies. And the newcomers, I just want to tell you, our services aren't always this sad. We have a lot of joy here, and the joy of service and the joy of making the community better in whatever way we can. So thank you for joining us today. Have a beautiful week.